6:30, we got number 18, NC State, traveling to Miami. Last week, again, they're only favored by 3.5 points again on ESPN2. I think NC State was favored by around that many points last week against Boston College. And guess what they did at Boston College? Dominated, 33-7 win at Boston College. Devin Leary went 16-24, threw for 251 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And in my opinion, one of the most underappreciated of the college football playoff candidates, one of the least underappreciated quarterbacks, honestly. If you say the name Sean Clifford, a lot of people know who you're talking about. Bryce Young, Stetson Bennett, Cade McNamara, Paxton Thorne, Anthony Brown, Desmond Ritter. I mean, like, a lot of these names are, like, household names. C.J. Stroud. I mean, like, Matt Corral, obviously, a lot of people know. And obviously, a lot of people know Jack Cohn. And it's just, like, a lot of people know most of the starting quarterback. I think Devin Leary's one of those quarterbacks that is just slipping underneath everyone's radar because it's not Kenny Pickett. Everyone knew about Kenny, at least most people knew about Kenny Pickett entering the season. They knew what he could bring to the offense. He knew he was a good starting quarterback, college quarterback. I think most people knew what a lot of these people brought to the table. I mean, like, outside of, like, some group of 5 teams like Jordan Brookshire and Frank Harris that isn't getting a lot of national attention, most Power 5 candidates, like, honestly, you're telling me you don't know who Wake Forest... Most people know who Sam Hartman is as well. NC State, Devin Leary is one of the most underappreciated college quarterbacks of my time. Honestly. He's winning football games. Doing a great job of it. By the way, the run game was not a lot of help against Boston College. You're talking about Persons and... I think it's Zahir White. Not helping all that much, right? Their leading rusher was Jordan Houston, 8 catches, 8 carries for 43 yards. Not all that much on the ground. But honestly, carried them to a win over Boston College, that in their defense, which is honestly underappreciated. I think 18's too low for NC State. I really think they're a better football team than that. Thayer Thomas had 4 catches for 122 yards and touchdown. Miami's coming off another heartbreaker with a 45-42 loss at UNC. Tyler Van Dyke ended up it was their quarterback since Derek Kingsford, 20-45, threw for 264 yards, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions. Three interceptions turned out to be costly in the 45-42 loss. Jalen Knighton had 17 carries for 92 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he also had 2 catches for 73 yards, and yes, a touchdown. He was their leading receiver and rusher. Miami's 10-5 against NC State all time. The last 3 games have gone to Miami. That's because up until now, NC State's not been a very good football team, right? They have not been a team I think is a playoff candidate, right? I was entering the year thinking it's possible that NC State is really good this year, right? I didn't think they would be this good. Because they were good last year, right? They were coming off a game where I think they only lost 3 or 4 in a season. That's a pretty good season for NC State. Coming off a season where the Wolfpack was able to do really well despite losing their starting quarterback, and I thought that could lead to success. Then they lost their Week 2 game against Mississippi State. Like, maybe they're not going to be that great this year. It's a really disappointing loss. They haven't lost since then. They beat Clemson, and I understand they beat Boston College. I don't think they draw UNC from the other side. The big question mark you're going to have in one of these games is, can you beat Wake Forest? That Wake Forest game is going to matter so much. It's honestly going to likely determine the ACC. Because again, NC State, despite losing to Mississippi State, undefeated in ACC play. That'd be really cool if NC State could only have 1 loss. I think NC State should be favored by more than 3.5 points. I think they're a much better team than Miami. I like the Wolfpack. So keep rolling here.